Things have changed since Lily was born. I used to see Mark's face light up when I walked into a room. Now, I'm lucky if I get a grunt before he buries his nose back into his phone. His job's the same, maybe even less stressful than before, but something in him switched off the day we brought her home. Another painting, Grace? What's that, the third this week? Mark's voice would grip the air, sharp and smearing, whenever he watched me set up my easel. He used to admire my work, even had my best piece framed in his office once. Not anymore. Yeah, so it's not like I'm spending your money, I'd answer, trying not to let him see the tremble in my hands, keeping my focus on mixing the blues and yellows on my palette. But inside, each word he volleyed felt like a punch. Could have fooled me. And look at this place, looks like a damn tornado hit it. He'd scan the room, his eyes scanning every toy and blanket out of place, holding them up like evidence of my failures. Look, I'm with Lily all day, and she's a handful, I'd fight back, my voice not as steady as I'd liked, and maybe if you helped a little around here. Help with what? You're home all the time, you deal with it. That was our deal, remember? I make the cash, you handle the rest. Not my fault you can't manage, he'd cut me off, leaving no room for argument. Every night ended the same, with him turning away and dismissing me with a scoff when he left for work. Lily would tug at the hem of my shirt, her little eyes confused. Daddy mad? She would ask, her tiny lips quivering at the thought. No, baby, Daddy just has a lot on his mind. Here, help Mommy choose the colors. Yeah, I'd pull her into my arms, trying to smile for her sake, guiding her hand to pick out colors together. Together, we'd paint, and for a while, the bitterness in Mark's tone would get drowned out by her laughter and our shared world of color. I knew my paintings were good, not because I was full of myself, but because they were the only thing I had left from a time when I felt confident, vibrant. That evening when Mark came home, I did what I always did. I tried to greet him with a warm dinner, a clean house, and Lily, squeaky from her bath and dressed in her best pajamas. Hey, I said, the smell of roast chicken trailing behind me, how was your day? He grunted in reply, shrugging off his coat and throwing it over the couch. His eyes caught mine, then the easel set up in the corner of our living room. Still haven't gotten rid of that junk, he remarked. Tip with your life, Grace, they don't understand Mark, they don't understand what it's like to pour your heart into something only to have it ridiculed and belittled. I swallowed hard, my throat dry with humiliation and anger. It's not a hobby, I protested weakly, but my words fell on deaf ears. Mark's laughter echoed in the room, mingling with his parents' scornful remarks. I felt small, insignificant, like my dreams were nothing but dust in the wind. But as they laughed and mocked, a fire ignited within me. I refused to let them extinguish my passion, my love for painting. Their words may sting, but they wouldn't break me. I straightened my spine, meeting their gazes with defiance burning in my eyes. Maybe I will get a job, I declared, my voice steady despite the tremble in my hands. But I'll never stop painting. This is who I am, and no one, not even you, can take that away from me. With that, I turned away from their mocking faces, returning to my easel with renewed determination. They may not understand, but I didn't need their approval. I had Lily, my daughter, who looked at me with adoration and belief. I had my art, my sanctuary, where I could pour my soul onto the canvas and find solace in the colors and strokes. And, most importantly, I had myself, a woman determined to defy the expectations and limitations placed upon her. As the evening wore on, I lost myself in my painting, blocking out the sound of their laughter and the weight of their judgment. With each brushstroke, I reclaimed a piece of myself, building a bridge to a future where my dreams were not just dreams, but a vibrant reality. And as the colors danced across the canvas, I knew that no matter what obstacles lay ahead, I would face them with courage and conviction. For I was Grace, an artist, a mother, and a fighter, and nothing could dim the light of my spirit. Grace, it's about budgeting. I felt my frustration boiling over, bubbling beneath the surface like a pot ready to boil over. Well, maybe if you understood that my painting is more than just a hobby, you wouldn't be so quick to dismiss it, I retorted, my voice rising in defiance. There was a moment of silence, broken only by the faint sound of Lily babbling in her room down the hall. Then, Mark sighed heavily, the weight of his disapproval hanging in the air like a heavy fog. Fine, Grace. Do whatever you want, he muttered, his tone resigned. But don't come crying to me when we're struggling to make ends meet. His words stung, but I refused to let them break me. I had made a choice to pursue my passion, to reclaim a part of myself that had been buried beneath the weight of expectations and obligations. And I wasn't about to let anyone, not even Mark, take that away from me. With a deep breath, I squared my shoulders and unlocked the bedroom door. As I descended the stairs, I could feel their eyes on me, waiting for me to capitulate, to admit defeat. But I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. I would keep painting, keep fighting for my dreams, no matter what obstacles lay in my path. And as I joined them at the table to clear away the remnants of our meal, I couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope igniting within me. It wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to carve out a space for myself in this world, one brushstroke at a time. Grace, budget. That word felt like a choke chain tightening around my throat. I pay for my art supplies with my own money, Mark, I retorted, the frustration evident in my voice. But Mark wasn't having it. Your money's our money, isn't it? He shot back, his tone dripping with disdain. And your money is running out fast. Later, at the store, every choice felt like a battle. I carefully selected the cheapest brands, counting every penny, every compromise, acutely aware of Mark's disapproving gaze. Back home, as I unpacked the groceries, I could feel his eyes boring into me, scrutinizing every item as if searching for a mistake. Putting back some luxuries, are we? Mark commented, his tone laced with sarcasm. I shrugged, avoiding his gaze, hiding the receipts like a guilty secret. Prices went up, had to make some cuts, I replied tersely, hoping to end the conversation. But Mark wasn't finished. Don't see any cuts in your art budget though, he remarked, his voice cold and accusatory. I clenched my fists, feeling my anger rise. This keeps me sane, Mark, I insisted, my voice trembling with emotion. My art keeps me sane. Mark's response was like a punch to the gut. Well, sanity's quite the luxury item these days, he sneered, his words cutting deep. That night, as I painted, it wasn't out of passion, but out of frustration. Each stroke felt like a compromise, a sacrifice made to fit within the constraints of Mark's expectations. But as I worked, I remembered a time when these brushes were a joy to hold, not a weapon I had to defend. Mark was somewhere across the country, tangled up in business trip meetings, when he decided to drop the latest task on me. His voice buzzed through my phone, sounding distant and disconnected. Grace, you've got to pull together a birthday present for my boss's wife, Clara, he said, his tone brusque and demanding. I hung up the phone, feeling a surge of resentment wash over me. It wasn't fair, I thought bitterly. When was it my turn to pursue my own dreams, to chase after my own desires? But as I stood there, staring at the blank canvas before me, I made a silent vow to myself. No matter what challenges lay ahead, I would stay true to myself and my art. And as the colors bloomed across the canvas, I felt a flicker of hope igniting within me. No one could take that away from me, not even Mark. I smiled at Lily's curiosity, her innocence a welcome distraction from the mounting pressure. Mommy's making a special gift for a lady Daddy works with, I explained, gently taking the brush from her tiny fingers. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement, her imagination already spinning tales of the masterpiece I was about to create. With Lily by my side, I dove into my work with renewed vigor. Every stroke of the brush felt like a small victory, a step closer to bringing my vision to life. I lost track of time as I poured my heart and soul into the canvas, each color and line a reflection of my passion and determination. Days turned into nights, and nights into days, but I didn't falter. I was on a mission, fueled by the desire to prove to myself, and perhaps to Mark too, that my art was more than just a hobby, it was a gift, a talent that deserved to be celebrated. As the final brushstroke fell into place, I stepped back to admire my handiwork. The painting was a masterpiece, a true labor of love. I could feel the pride welling up inside me, threatening to spill over. The day of Clara's birthday arrived, and with it came a sense of nervous anticipation. Would she like my gift? Would she see the effort and thought that had gone into it? As Clara unwrapped the painting, her eyes widened in surprise. "Oh my goodness, Grace, this is beautiful," she exclaimed, her voice filled with genuine delight. "You made this?" I nodded, a sense of satisfaction washing over me. "Yes, I did. I wanted to give you something personal, something that reflects your love for art." Clara smiled, her gratitude palpable. "Thank you, Grace. This is truly special." As I watched Clara admire her gift, I felt a sense of validation wash over me. My art had brought joy to someone else's life, and in that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would never stop creating. For me, for Lily, and for anyone else who needed a little bit of beauty in their lives. As I approached Clara's birthday bash, my heart raced with anticipation and anxiety. The painting nestled in my arms felt like a weight, a culmination of days of hard work and emotional investment. I moved through the crowd, eyes lowered, wishing I could disappear into the background. Mark was there too, just arrived from his latest business trip, his demeanor exuding confidence and success. But as his eyes met mine, I saw a flicker of something in his expression, a mixture of surprise, disdain, and perhaps even a hint of resentment. It was a look I knew all too well, one that spoke volumes without saying a word. He scanned the room, his gaze lingering on the polished women in their cocktail dresses, before settling back on me. I felt a knot form in the pit of my stomach, a familiar sense of inadequacy creeping in. But then, something shifted. His eyes narrowed, his lips forming a silent judgment as they settled on the parcel in my hands. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The noise of the party faded into the background, leaving only the sound of my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. I held my breath, waiting for his reaction, unsure of what to expect. But then, without a word, Mark turned away, his attention drawn to someone else in the crowd. I exhaled slowly, the tension draining from my body as I realized that his opinion no longer mattered to me. I had poured my heart and soul into this painting, and whether he approved or not was inconsequential. With renewed determination, I made my way to Clara, the painting held out like a peace offering. As she unwrapped it, her eyes lit up with delight, her smile genuine and heartfelt. "Oh, Grace, this is beautiful," she exclaimed, her voice filled with genuine appreciation. I smiled, feeling a sense of pride swell within me. In that moment, surrounded by friends and colleagues, I realized that my worth wasn't defined by Mark's approval or anyone else's. I was enough, just as I was, and my art was a reflection of that truth. As the party continued around us, I basked in the warmth of Clara's gratitude, knowing that I had created something special, something that mattered. And as I looked around at the faces of those around me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought me to this moment. The tension in the room was palpable as I peeled back the wrapping, revealing the painting beneath. Colors exploded into the space, vibrant and alive, each brushstroke a testament to my dedication and passion. Clara's eyes widened in surprise, her expression a mixture of curiosity and intrigue. "Wow," she breathed, her voice cutting through the silence that had settled over the room. "This is incredible." I felt a surge of relief wash over me as the weight of Mark's disapproval lifted from my shoulders. Maybe this was my chance to prove him wrong, to show him that my art was more than just a hobby, it was a gift, a talent to be celebrated. The room erupted into applause, the tension dissipating like mist in the morning sun. I glanced over at Mark, expecting to see a hint of pride or maybe even a begrudging nod of approval, but his expression remained unreadable, a mask of stoic indifference. Clara approached, her eyes shining with genuine appreciation. "Thank you, Grace," she said, her voice soft with emotion. "This is the most thoughtful gift I've ever received." I smiled, a sense of pride swelling within me. In that moment, surrounded by friends and colleagues, I realized that my art had the power to touch people's lives, to bring joy and beauty into the world. As the party continued around us, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. No matter what challenges lay ahead, I knew that I would never stop creating, never stop chasing after my dreams. And as I looked around at the faces of those gathered, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought me to this moment. Clara's words hung in the air, heavy with possibility. The idea of showcasing my work in a gallery seemed both exhilarating and terrifying. Could I really take such a leap of faith, expose my art to the scrutiny of strangers? But as I looked into Clara's determined gaze, something inside me shifted. Maybe it was time to stop doubting myself, to embrace the opportunities that lay before me. I glanced over at Mark, half expecting to see a sneer or a dismissive remark, but to my surprise, his expression was unreadable. Was it possible that even he saw the potential in my art, despite his earlier criticisms? Clara's encouragement bolstered my resolve, filling me with a newfound sense of confidence. I think I'd like that, I finally managed to say, the words feeling foreign and yet undeniably right. Clara beamed, her approval like a beacon guiding me forward. Great! I'll put you in touch with some people I know. We'll get your work out there, Grace. I have a feeling you're going to make quite the impression. As the party continued around us, the weight of Mark's disapproval seemed to lift from my shoulders. For the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful, excited about the possibilities that lay ahead. And as I stood there, surrounded by friends and colleagues, I realized that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in my life. With Clara's support and encouragement, I was ready to take the next step on my journey as an artist, wherever it might lead. As the whispers and murmurs swirled around me like a whirlwind, I felt a sense of both excitement and trepidation coursing through my veins. People who had barely acknowledged me before were now hanging on my arm, eager to discuss my artwork. It was surreal, like stepping into someone else's life, someone braver and more confident than the woman I used to be. But amidst the crowd, amidst the newfound attention and acclaim, Mark's presence loomed large, his hand on my back burning like a brand. His words cut through the chatter, sharp and accusing, his disbelief palpable. I turned to face him, the weight of his doubt heavy on my shoulders. Yes, I am serious, I replied, my voice steady, despite the turmoil inside me. We've been over for a long time, Mark. It's time to make it official. The truth hung in the air, between us, a bitter pill to swallow, but one that needed to be said. Mark looked stunned, his usual confidence shaken. For a moment, he seemed lost for words, and then, without another glance, he turned and walked away, his shoulders slumped with defeat. Clara's hand on my shoulder brought me back to the present, her concern a balm to my wounded pride. You okay, hon? She asked, her eyes filled with empathy. I nodded, a surge of gratitude washing over me. I am, thanks to you, I replied, managing a small smile. What are friends for, right? With Clara's encouragement ringing in my ears, I felt a newfound sense of purpose coursing through my veins. The path ahead might be uncertain, but I knew one thing for sure, I was ready to embrace it, to light up this town with my art and with the love of my daughter by my side. As I looked towards the future, I felt a sense of hope stirring within me. There was an ending, yes, but there was also a beginning, a new chapter painted in the boldest colors of possibility. With Lily at my side, I knew we would be more than fine. We would be us, unapologetically and unfalteringly us. With a renewed sense of purpose, I turned to Clara, gratitude shining in my eyes. And you, Grace, she said, giving my shoulder a reassuring squeeze, you're going to light up this town with your art. Just you wait. Her words echoed in my mind as I watched Mark disappear into the crowd, his departure marking the end of an era and the beginning of something new. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world lift from my shoulders. As the party continued around us, I felt a sense of freedom wash over me, like a bird released from its cage. The future stretched out before me, a blank canvas waiting to be filled with color and life. With Lily by my side, I knew that anything was possible. Together, we would forge our own path, unbound by the constraints of the past. And as I looked into her eyes, bright with excitement and possibility, I knew that our journey was just beginning. The road ahead might be uncertain, but with each step, I would paint my own destiny, one brushstroke at a time. And as the night wore on and the laughter and music filled the air, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement for the adventures that lay ahead. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly alive, ready to embrace whatever the future held. And as I stood there, surrounded by friends and well-wishers, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them with courage and determination. Because after all, life was like a painting, messy, unpredictable, but beautiful in its own way. And with Lily by my side, I was ready to create the masterpiece of our dreams. As the night wore on, the weight of the decision I had made began to settle in. But amidst the uncertainty, there was also a newfound sense of liberation. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I was truly living, embracing the freedom to pursue my passion without reservation. With Clara's support and encouragement, I knew that I had made the right choice. And as I looked around at the faces of those who had doubted me, I felt a surge of pride. I had proven them wrong, shown them that I was capable of so much more than they had ever imagined. With Lily's hand clasped in mine, I made a silent vow to never again let fear or doubt hold me back. The road ahead might be challenging, but I was ready to face it head-on, armed with nothing but my determination and my love for art. As the party drew to a close and the guests began to depart, I felt a sense of anticipation stirring within me. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of a new chapter in my life, one filled with endless possibilities and boundless creativity. With a smile on my face and a heart full of hope, I took one last look around the room before turning towards the door. The journey ahead would be long and arduous, but with Clara by my side and Lily in my arms, I knew that I was ready to take on whatever challenges lay in store. And as we stepped out into the night, the stars shining brightly overhead, I knew that this was only the beginning of our adventure together. With each step forward, we would paint our own destiny, one stroke